question, like feel free to jump in. So here we go. Long answer analytical geometry question kind of deals with everything we've learned so far. I'll try and keep this one tight. Basically, what we're going to do with questions like this, take a look at the diagram and then start to look at these 4 points right there. Those things matter. I'm really just going to work my way through them until I get to the end. Okay, so once I complete one aspect, I'm going to go to the other. So the equation associated with line segment y is equal to 3x, or with line segment QH is that right there, y is equal to 3x minus 180. They're just saying that this rule tells me everything I need to know about that line right there. Okay, so I don't really need to do anything with it. It just gave me the rule. If you want, you can write it on here, right? Y is equal to 3x minus 180. Maybe that'll help you see it a little bit better, but that's basically it in a nutshell. That I know that that rule goes with that line. Okay. The next thing says point Q is on the x-axis. They want you to know right now that here is a certain x value when y is 0. You need to know for the first step, in order to find Q, right, I am going to be plugging in 3x minus 180. I am going to be plugging in on this guy here, y is 0. Okay? So for this guy here, Q is on the x-axis. It's telling me that the y is equal to 0. So in order to find Q, I'm going to plug in y is equal to 0. And then I just solve for it. This is just algebra now. I'm going to add 180 to both sides to bring it over here. Positive 180 is equal to 3x. And then I'll finish that off just by dividing by 3. X is going to be equal to 60. Okay? Now, you did not just get x is equal to 60. You got that when x is 60, y is 0. So I can rewrite this. I can include now that that is 60 and then that is 0. So point Q, I can check that off. That guy is done. First two things are taken care of. The x-coordinate of point H is 150. So if I go up here, I know x is 150. I don't know what the y is. I literally go through the same thing. I'm going to find H. And that is when x is equal to 150. It's on the same line, so I use the same rule. Y is equal to 3x minus 180. I'm just solving for a y given an x. Find this is a little bit easier because everything's all on one side. You know, we were talking about this, right? The other guy's a little bit more complicated because I've got to do some rearranging and moving from left side to right side stuff. Whereas here, I'm legit just going to go, what's 3 times 150? And then subtract 180 from that. So I did not just get y is 270 though. What I want you to know is that we got, when x is 150, y is 270. So when x is 150, y is 270. Okay, that point's done. Now if you take a look at this guy here and we go to the next point, from point Q, that's super important. Highlight that. That it's from point Q. That means that this guy here has to be x1, y1. Because this 2/5 here, located 2/5 along the way of the line, that 2/5 from point Q tells me I'm using division point. Now, let's take a look at it here. Actually, just look at the board for a sec. I know that this is 60 and 0. I know that's 150 and 270. This last point is saying that V is 2/5 along that line if I'm starting from Q. If I'm starting from Q. So we can basically just plug everything in to this formula right here. X1, Y1 plus A over B, Y2 minus Y1. Okay? So what matters? This guy is x1, y1. This guy is x2, y2. Okay? So now I just go plug those things in as I see them. First x is 60. The fraction I use is 2/5. I'm going to go then 150 minus 60. Where's my y1? Well, that one was 0. We're starting at a y value of 0. Same fraction, 270 minus 0. That's going to be pretty easy to calculate. As a reminder, we work our way, brackets, multiply, add. This is strictly just bedmass now. 60 plus 2/5 of 90. 0 plus 2/5 of 270. Okay? 205. 108, yeah. So 60 plus 2/5 of 90, 36. Oh, zoom in here. Come on. Okay. 60 plus 36, 0 plus 108. So at the end, I'm going to end up with 96 and 108. Now, go to your diagram. Write it in there, 96 and 108. Does that make sense given the numbers that I have? Does 96 and 108 make sense considering the numbers I was previously given? Yes, it does. Okay? So I can kind of validate that. The last thing, and they usually write it separately, and it's not in a bullet, is what is the length of the line segment VJ? So now we get to the end of the question. What is this line segment right here? What is that distance? What is that length? I'm going to be using the distance formula. So distance is square root of x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. Where it doesn't matter now, but I'm going to call that guy my x1, y1. And what was the other point at the end? 232 and 210. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Yeah, it's doing the distance. This one's tougher than the other ones are going to be. Back out just a little more. There we go. So last step, right? Let's find the distance of this guy here. And this is going to be my x1, y1 for this guy. And then 232 and 210 are going to be my x2, y2 for this guy here. So now we just plug things in as we see it. Okay? Square root of 232 minus 96 squared. 210 minus 108 squared. Now it's like we talked about at the beginning of class. I'm going to do inside my brackets. I'm going to square stuff, and then I'll take the square root of it. So distance is going to be
It'll be 136 squared.
Yep. 136 squared plus 102. 102 squared. And then distance will be, I'm going to add those two things together. So 136 squared. Just focus. So 18,496 plus 10,404. So whatever that is plus 18,496 square root of 28900. So distance finally at the end of this is going to be 170. So quite a large question. Okay, this is what you're going to have to be ready for the end of the year. But yeah, I want you to take a look at this guy get it down, and then ask any questions in terms of like, how did you get this? Why did you do that? Why are we doing what we're doing there?